Picture this. It is a Friday night in the year 1998. Millions of American families are participating in the exact same weekly ritual. They get into their cars and drive to their local Blockbuster video store. Walking down those brightly lit aisles, smelling the artificial popcorn, and rushing to grab the latest Hollywood release before it's sold out. At its absolute peak, Blockbuster was not just a company, it was a cultural monopoly. They were an unstoppable corporate titan. They had over 9,000 physical stores globally, 65 million registered customers, and a staggering $6 billion in annual revenue. They literally owned the home entertainment industry, and nobody even dared to challenge them. But beneath this massive, shiny empire, there was a fatal flaw, a very dark side to their business model. A huge chunk of Blockbuster's profit, nearly $800 million a year, came from a practice that absolutely everyone hated: punishing their own customers. If you brought a movie back even one day late, you were hit with a frustrating and expensive late fee. The company was making a fortune by penalizing the very people who kept them in business. In 1997, a software engineer named Reed Hastings experienced this broken system firsthand. He rented the movie Apollo 13, misplaced the cassette, and returned it several days late. The cashier slapped him with a $40 late fee. Hastings was incredibly embarrassed, but more than that, he was furious. That anger sparked a revolutionary idea. What if there was a movie rental business that actually respected its customers? A business with no due dates, no driving to the store, and absolutely no late fees. That was the exact moment Netflix was born. But the beginning was far from glamorous. Netflix started as a small, struggling website. You ordered online, and a few days later, they mailed DVDs directly to your house in their now iconic red envelopes. Building this logistical dream was brutally expensive. By the year 2000, the company was bleeding cash. The dot-com bubble had burst, investors were panicking, and Netflix was on the edge of total financial collapse. They were desperate for a lifeline. Seeking survival, Reed Hastings flew to Dallas, Texas, to meet with John Antioco, the powerful and highly respected CEO of Blockbuster. Hastings walked into a luxurious, intimidating boardroom on the 27th floor and made a historic pitch. He offered to sell Netflix entirely to Blockbuster for just $50 million. In exchange, his team would run Blockbuster's new online division. It was a golden ticket to own the future of entertainment. But John Antioco looked at Hastings and literally laughed in his face. The Blockbuster executives thought the internet was just a temporary fad, a silly playground for nerds. To them, Netflix was a complete joke that was losing money. They practically threw Hastings out of the building. That arrogant laughter would eventually become known as the single most expensive mistake in corporate history. Humiliated but determined, Netflix had no choice but to fight a war they were expected to lose. They slowly grew their DVD by mail business, surviving the economic crash. And then, in 2007, Netflix dropped a nuclear bomb on the entire entertainment industry. They launched online streaming. Suddenly, nobody had to wait for a red envelope in the mail anymore. You could watch thousands of movies and TV shows instantly on your computer. It was pure instant gratification. In Dallas, Blockbuster finally panicked. The sleeping giant woke up, but it was far too late. They scrambled to copy Netflix, launching their own online service and desperately dropping late fees, but the damage was irreversible. Their massive network of thousands of physical stores, once their greatest asset, had become a massive anchor pulling them underwater. They were drowning in debt and irrelevance. In 2010, the unthinkable happened. The unstoppable, invincible empire of Blockbuster officially filed for bankruptcy. Today, there is only one surviving Blockbuster store left in the entire world, located in Bend, Oregon. It is kept open merely as a nostalgic tourist attraction, a museum for a forgotten era. Meanwhile, the little startup they laughed at, Netflix, grew into a $300 billion global powerhouse that forever changed how humanity consumes media. The brutal lesson here is crystal clear, whether you run a small business or a billion-dollar empire. In the world of business, arrogance is a terminal disease. Your past success does not guarantee your future survival. If you punish your customers and refuse to adapt to the future, someone else will gladly dig your grave.